Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video all about journaling. I'm going to be taking you through the different types of journaling that I am really into at the moment and that I've been into over the past however many years. I'm going to be talking about which ones work for me the best, which different parts of my life that they all target, which ones I do on a day-to-day basis, more of a weekly basis, how I find organisational journaling, personal journaling, spiritual journaling, all of that. I will be covering as many topics as possible in this video, and I really hope that it gives you some inspiration or that you learn something more about journaling that you might not know already. So yeah, I'm going to start off with the most common form of journaling, which I believe to me is just personal journaling. So just writing about your life, things that go on. When I was younger, this definitely used to be more diary style entries, kind of talking about how my day at school had been, what was going on with me and my friends, things like that. And not to say I don't talk about those kind of things in my journal now, but now I feel like I definitely focus more on how I'm feeling rather than describing a specific event. I will be journaling about how that event makes me feel, or what kind of things are coming up for me at certain times. That sometimes I'll use journaling prompts such as, how am I feeling right now? Why do I feel like I need to journal today? All things like that. And getting the thoughts out of your head and putting it down on paper is really helpful because it allows you to reflect on things as you're feeling them or after you're feeling them, really vocalizing things. And sometimes something that you're stressed or you're anxious about, you actually write it down and you think, there's not really much for me to be stressed about in this situation. Now that I've kind of got it out of my brain and compartmentalized it? Is that a word? Now that I've got it out of my brain and put it onto paper, it's actually not as big a thing that I was stressed about. So this is the personal journal that I'm currently using at the moment, and for me, I use my personal journal as just somewhere to kind of brain dump, vent about things, rant about things, discuss things with myself, reflect on things, talk about stuff that's happened in my day but not on a day-to-day basis. Definitely was a point where I tried to force myself to write every day in this type of journal and it just didn't work for me. It made it into something more of a chore, something that I was then stressed about having to achieve, and that really is the complete opposite of what journaling is to me. So yeah, if you are into journaling, this is the one that you will be most familiar with. Just keeping a personal journal, and it really depends how much I write and how often I write, but I probably tend to write 1 or 2 pages every time I write in here, and I probably have about just under 10 maybe journals that I have completed in the past 5 years. I really started consistently writing in personal journal form when I was in Australia, just the year before I went to uni. It was my first kind of big solo travel trip, and I just really wanted that space to be able to record things and be excited about things, reflect on things, and it is definitely something that has carried me through the past 5 years of my life. I don't know where I would be if I hadn't been journaling and writing things down, and just having that space to privately reflect on things with yourself, and knowing that other people aren't judging you or anything like that. But it is actually really interesting reading back on journals from a year ago, 2 years ago, looking the date, seeing what you were thinking that many years ago in your life and how things have changed and impacted. So do really recommend keeping a personal journal if it's something that you don't do already. So the next type of journaling that I'm going to be talking about today is more of a gratitude journal, intention setting style of journaling. So this is the type of journaling that I do every single day, try to do every single day without fail, and I am one of those people that if I miss a day I have to go back and fill it in. So yeah, I use this journal, which is honestly one of my favourite things that I probably have ever bought or received, and these are by the artist Annie Tarasova. She's called Dreamy Moons on Instagram. I'll link her site, her website, her Instagram, everything down in the description. She is an artist. She creates beautiful artwork and beautiful journals and books, and I just love them. I had one in 2019 and I had one in 2020. They are hefty, like they're fairly expensive, but totally worth it for me. And as you'll see, you get the calendar at the beginning of each month where you can fill things in, and then you have each month you have sections that you fill things in on a page spread. So it's what your intentions for this month, health, emotional and physical intentions, work and study intentions, personal goal intentions, and then a space to visualize and manifest what you want to achieve that month. And then each week as well, you get a full page spread with some prompts. So reflection on the previous week, some of the best moments, what do I want to improve, intentions for the next week, what are my priorities, and then on a week-to-week basis, you have a section for every day, and each day you have a few lines. So I tend to write the most significant things that have happened to me that day. Because I don't write in my personal journal every day, I find this one is really useful for looking back and seeing what I was up to every day, what I've been doing. Really nice to just look back and see where my life's changed within a year between the two of them, or just reminisce on some nice memories that I wouldn't necessarily remember if I hadn't written them down. Also at the end of each day you get the highlight of my day and what was I most grateful for on that day. So this is something that is really nice to just have a space. I like to do this just before I go to sleep, after I've done some meditation, and just reflect on what are the good parts of my day, what did I get up to, what stood out for me, what was the highlight, and what I am grateful for that day. And I really have been loving doing this. I've been doing this for a year and a half now consistently, and it is probably one of my favourite forms of journaling. Also, as she is an artist, it is just imbued with so many beautiful illustrations each month, and it also shows the moon cycles. This is honestly me in a book, if I'm completely honest. This is completely everything that I love doing: organising, reflecting on my life, beautiful illustration, getting to write things down, and focused around the moon and astrology in a sense. So yeah, these are limited editions. She does come out with one every year. I will link her site down below, but you obviously don't have to have this exact notebook journal to be able to do this. Keeping a gratitude journal and just writing down one to a few things each day that you are grateful for, that have been significant for you and that you want to reflect on, is really impactful in not only making you feel good, setting your day up right, but for reflecting. If you're having a bad day and you want to look back and you have a whole list of things that you've been grateful for that week, that month, that year, it is a really nice thing to reaffirm you that great things are happening and there have been so many great opportunities for you. So I definitely recommend this form of journaling, which is more gratitude journaling, intention setting, or weekly reflection journaling. So my personal journal, as I said, I've been doing consistently for about 5 years. Gratitude journaling I've been doing consistently for it will be 2 years this December, so about 1.5 years. And then I'd say my most recent form of journaling that I have started, probably it's something that I have been wanting to do on and off for the past few years, but something that I've been doing consistently, trying to do almost every single day or as much as I can since I've been at home in isolation. So now just over 2 months, and that is dream journaling. I have really been loving this. I've always been someone that has been really interested in learning about dreams, what they mean, kind of how the subconscious of your dreams relates to what's happening in your day-to-day life. It's just something that really fascinates me, and I have found that waking up and trying to write down my dreams, even if I don't analyze them or anything, just writing them down and getting them down on paper makes me remember them so much more. And when I can wake up in the morning, I honestly can recite my dreams back like they're a movie that I've watched overnight. The other day I literally woke up and I wrote about 4 pages worth of a dream, and I could remember every single detail, and it is very interesting looking it up on kind of the dream dictionary websites and seeing how that relates to things. It always resonates with me, and yeah, I just find that very interesting. So my form of dream journaling is, as I said, I try my hardest to wake up and physically write in this dream journal, which isn't it's just a notebook that is like zodiac themed, that I thought was really apt for writing this kind of stuff in. But yeah, I try to wake up and physically write in this, but majority of the time I'll wake up and I'll write it down on my phone, and then I'll come back and write in this later. But what I have been doing, I found really interesting, is actually writing down and then later on in the day annotating it with little sticky notes and things and writing in different colours, and going onto websites, like dream dictionary websites, looking up what certain things mean, writing them down, and then either in this journal or in my personal journal I will go further for an in-depth analysis if I think that it's a particularly significant dream. But yeah, this is something that I find so interesting because it just is another form of reflection, thinking about things in your subconscious and then analysing them and what resonates with you as you're reading the interpretations. And then it almost, for me, serves as a prompt for me to then journal about something else, reflect on something else that maybe has come up in my dream that I think is particularly resonant, that I can then meditate on, journal about, explore more. So yeah, if you're someone that remembers your dreams and you want to know more about them, dream journaling I definitely recommend. The more you think about them in the morning, the more you write them down as soon as you've woken up, the more you will be able to remember them, and the more poignant they will become as you start reading it. Though I will say not everything in a dream I've found is actually very relevant to your life. The other day I had a dream about sausage rolls for a very long time, and I was trying to look up what is the meaning of a sausage roll dream, and I couldn't really find anything, and I think that came down to the fact that I just really do miss the Greg's vegan sausage roll. So some dreams are reflective of kind of actual real life things that are happening, things that are going on in your brain that you have been thinking about before you went to sleep or during your waking hours, but some things really are a lot deeper than that and are very interesting to look into. So definitely recommend that if that's something you're into as well. So the next form of journaling that I have been doing probably for, again, the past few months consistently is more of a astrology, moon related journaling. So if this isn't something that you're interested in, obviously this part won't really be of interest to you, but I have this journal here which I actually bought in a bookshop in Chicago. If I can find anywhere that sells this the same, I'll try and link it down below. Yeah, every week I try and do my moon cards, which are, I'll show you. So they look like this, and each one has a different moon cycle and a different sign. It goes through all of them and they have a little affirmation on them. I try to do these once a week. Again, just give me another form of reflection, intention setting, that kind of thing. And so this journal is the place where I record down what is each card spread I do, what it represents, what the interpretations are, and usually the question that I've asked when I'm pulling the cards, what guidance I'm looking for, and things like that. And again, this is just something that is really nice to look back on at the end of the week and see how much of it has resonated with me. Again, just another form of reflection that is more than just me talking about the stuff, the thoughts that are in my head without any external source. And I really do find that if journaling isn't something that you've been trying to get into but you haven't really found that it's very easy, or it's something that you can consistently keep up with but you want to do that, I definitely think that using prompts is the easiest way to get into it, rather than just sitting down with a blank piece of paper and trying to think of something to write, because it is quite hard if it's something that you're not used to, or even if you're having like a mental block, a creative block, to just sit down and start writing if you haven't kind of organize your thoughts to be able to put it down. So having prompts, just like what's something that I can improve on today, what's something that's been worrying me, what guidance do I feel like I could have given myself today, those kind of things. And especially using external things such as my moon cards, and reading something to give me some reflection and then journaling about that, or doing a meditation and then journaling about that experience, how you're feeling about that, definitely is very useful if you are struggling with things to kind of start writing about just off the bat without any external push, I guess. I think that's pretty much summarized everything that I like to do when I'm journaling. Hopefully this has given you some inspiration into the world of journaling, and what I like to do, and maybe given you some ideas on what you could start doing if this is something that you're looking into, you're interested in getting into, especially at the moment where it feels like reflection and getting your thoughts out is probably the best thing that most people can be doing in times of such uncertainty and confusion. So yeah, I'll link all of these journals down below. If you want to hear any more, if you have any questions about journaling, you can contact me on any of my social media, through my website. All of those will be linked below as well. But I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if there's anything you want, any content that you want to see from me in the future, please let me know in the comments. I will see you next time.